Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. My name is Julian and you're watching the weekend episode for week 20 of the fantasy hockey season. Now guys, this episode is the episode where I suggest players that you can add for the days of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to help you catch up or maintain your lead in the week, just to make sure you bring home that win. The first section of the video is going to be forwards that play either Friday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. Try to get 2 games in there. Then I'm going to talk about some defensemen that play 2 games this weekend. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about categories for the categories league. If you need to catch up on specific categories, I'll suggest guys that you can add for that. Now, before we get started, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter at FantasyTips. I know I haven't been posting as much lately, but trust me, the tweets will continue to come, and hopefully I'll be able to help you out on Twitter as well. Now, let's jump right into the content, and let's start off with the schedule for this weekend. So as you can see here, guys, on Friday, there's 8 teams playing, and then on Saturday and Sunday, there are 20. So obviously, Friday is a significantly less busy night than both Saturday and Sunday. Looking at my teams, I have a lot busier of a schedule on Sunday than I do on Saturday. I actually have quite a bit of room on Saturday for most of my fantasy teams. So you're going to want to take a look at your team and see where you can fit players into your lineup. Friday, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to fit someone. And then look at Saturday and Sunday. Where can you fit players? If you're like me and can fit players on Friday and Saturday, you're out of luck. There are absolutely no teams that play both Friday and Saturday. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to pick a player up for 2 games because it just doesn't exist. There are no teams playing both those days. So unfortunately, I can't cover that this weekend. But there are quite a few teams that play both Friday and Sunday. So if you do have room on Sunday, you're in luck because there are quite a few players that you can consider picking up. Teams that play both Friday and Sunday are Columbus, Minnesota, the Islanders, Pittsburgh Penguins, Vancouver, Vegas, and Winnipeg. Now, the number one guy that I would pick up if I do have room in my lineup on Friday and Sunday is Boone Jenner, 60% rostered, so he just squeaks into this list. And honestly, guys, Jenner's been awesome skating alongside Patrick Laine. Slowed down a tiny bit lately, but guys, he's top power play, top line with Patrick Laine, who's very, very hot. He's definitely someone that I want to be adding for this weekend and probably holding on after that as well. And I have Oliver Bjorkstrand and Jacob Voracek. They both play on the second line and both on the top power play with Jenner and Patrick Laine. And they're both really hot right now as well. I like them both a lot as streamers for this weekend specifically. And honestly, you can hold them afterwards as well. They're pretty solid. Then I only usually have forwards in this list, but I included Noah Dobson here because he's been so freaking good, yet he's only 56% rostered. And it doesn't make any sense. This dude in most of my leagues actually has more fantasy points per game than guys like Pietrangelo. So Noah Dobson is pretty freaking good, and he covers your categories too. He shoots the puck and he blocks a good amount of shots as well, and he's been putting up points like all season. So Noah Dobson is really someone that should be added in more leagues, and obviously makes for a really good streamer for Friday and Sunday. And hey, if you don't have room for a forward on Sunday, Noah Dobson, you probably have room for a D, so Noah Dobson is a really good option. Then Matt Boldy plays on a line with Fiala and Frederick Gaudreau, plays on top power play. Pretty solid dude. Good streamer for this weekend. Brock Nelson is someone getting top line time in New York right now because Barzal is injured. So Brock Nelson is definitely someone that I don't mind streaming at all. Then Riley Smith at the Vegas Golden Knights. He seems to be heating back up a little bit, which is good to see. So he makes for a pretty decent streamer. Then I have Tanner Pearson, who's playing on a pretty good line with Brock Besser and JT Miller. And because of that, he makes for a really good streamer. He's only 4% rostered, so definitely someone that you should consider adding. Then I got Andrew Kopp of the Winnipeg Jets playing on the third line, but the third line now features Nikolai Ehlers. So yeah, not bad when you're on a line with Nikolai Ehlers. So definitely not bad at all. And Kopp still gets second power play time, so don't worry too much about him. And he has been producing, so pretty solid streamer. Then Connor Garland, who's playing on a line with Pettersson, which is pretty good, honestly. Hasn't been producing that much lately, but he does shoot the puck, gives you a relatively safe floor, and he's someone that definitely could put a point or 2. Then I have Nicolas Roy. I have him here not for his recent production, but because he was recently elevated to the top line with Pacioretty and Jack Eichel, and because of that, he automatically has fantasy value, and he's in a really good spot to succeed. So yeah, he hasn't produced a lot lately, but he could definitely start doing that with the spot that they're giving him right now. And I'm Anders Lee of the New York Islanders, and with Barzal out, he's still playing on the third line, which isn't great, but He scored 2 goals the other night, and he is top power play, so maybe he can, maintain that power play production because he is someone who is able to score a lot of goals. So let's see if he can do that. Then I have Sean Corrali of the Columbus Blue Jackets, plays on their third line, but he's been really, really consistent all year. He's someone that wins a decent amount of faceoffs. He shoots, he hits, he's pretty good all over, so he does give you a pretty safe floor, and he's been producing a pretty decent amount too this season. Then I have Paul Stastny, who plays top line with Scheifele and Wheeler. By default, he's bound to get points here and there, and he's been getting quite a few lately, so I don't mind that. And last but not least, I have Joel Eriksson and Marcus Foligno, and they were ice cold until Minnesota's last game. So honestly, I should have them a lot higher on this list since it seems like they found their game again. Foligno managed 3 points, and Joel Eriksson managed a goal. So yeah, I could definitely raise these guys on the list for sure, probably to even the first page here. But I had lowered them here just because they were ice cold. So if they're finding their games again, definitely really, really good streamers for this weekend. And guys that you should probably consider holding on to as well. Now, if you want a player to stream for Saturday and Sunday, if for some reason you have room in your lineup both Saturday and Sunday, well, these are the teams that play both those days. Anaheim, Calgary, Carolina, LA, Montreal, Nashville, Philadelphia, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay. Now, the first guy that I would consider streaming is Cole Caulfield of the Montreal Canadiens. He's been absolutely incredible. Cole Caulfield lately has been on a line with Suzuki as well as a top power play with Suzuki, and they've just had insane chemistry, and they've both been popping off. And it's been awesome as a Habs fan finally seeing what Caulfield can really do in the NHL. So, for that reason, he's my number 1 streamer for this weekend. Then I have Tyler Toffoli of the Calgary Flames, and I'll even include David Perron here at number 2. They've both been really good, and they're both a little bit over 60% rostered, so technically I shouldn't be including them in this list, but if they are available in your league, they're excellent streamers for this weekend. Toffoli's insanely hot right now. Even though he's playing on the third line, he is getting top power play time, and third line minutes have not seemed to bother Toffoli from scoring a lot of points. Same thing with David Perron. He's been playing on the top line and top power play, and he's finally been really finding his game and scoring a lot of points lately. And then I have Adrian Kempe of the Los Angeles Kings, and he's someone who's ice cold lately, but he's still getting top power play time and top line time with Anze Kopitar, and he will find his game soon. I'm not too worried about streaming Adrian Kempe. And then I have Tanner Jeannot, who's a little bit cold himself, but he's someone who gives you a safe floor night in and out. He likes to shoot the puck, he likes to hit a nice amount, and he's someone who's been able to be consistent all year round. I'm not too worried about him either. Then I have Cam Atkinson, someone who also gives you a pretty safe floor because he does like to shoot the puck a decent amount. Last game, he skated on the second line with Brassard and Farabee, as well as the team's top power play unit. Obviously, the Flyers have been absolutely terrible this year, but Atkinson is someone who has honestly put a pretty good season together. So he's someone who I really don't mind streaming for this weekend, and even holding on longer. He's probably one of the best players in the Flyers to actually have right now. And I have Ivan Barbashev, who finally seems to be turning things around. He had a really amazing start to the season, and then he went ice cold for a lot of games. I suggested him as a drop. I was like, guys, a guy who's doing absolutely nothing like this is not worth being in your lineup. Looks like now he's turning things around again. Barbashev is now playing on the top line with Perron and O'Reilly, and obviously that's a pretty good place to be. And Barbashev, it has shown that he can be a fantasy asset again, so definitely don't mind the streamer there. Then I have Blake Coleman, who's playing on the second line with Mangiapane and Michael Backlund, and he's very, very hot right now, and Mangiapane has been awesome. So Blake Coleman is a really good streamer. He gives you a pretty safe floor with his shots and the blocks as well. Then I have Ryan Johansson, who's playing on the top line with Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene. That's an awesome place to be. That was where Granlund was earlier in the season, but Johansson's getting his opportunity and he's making the most of it. He's been putting up some points. He's also playing on the power play with them. So Johansson makes for a pretty solid streamer for this weekend for sure. Then I have a trio of Ducks, Henrique, Zegras, and Raquel. Henrique plays on the top line with Getzlaf and Troy Terry. Getzlaf is injured right now, but he could be back by this weekend. We'll have to see. Zegras is playing with Raquel and Sonny Milano. It's a pretty solid line. They haven't been producing that much, but they're honestly pretty good streamers. They're going to probably get you a point or two. Then Philip Danault plays on the second line for LA, been really solid all year. Then I have Mikael Granlund, who's now playing on the second line with Cunnin and Tolvanen, which is a much worse place to be than on the top line with Forsberg and Duchene, but he's still someone that can produce, and he's still getting top power play time. And then I have Josh Anderson, who's been playing top line and top power play with Suzuki and Caulfield, so he's been put in a really good opportunity to succeed. And Suzuki and Caulfield are just insanely hot, so Josh Anderson by default should produce for you. Then I have Anthony Cirelli of the Tampa Bay Lightning playing on the second line with Stamkos and Killorn. Doesn't really see a whole lot of power play time, which lowers his value, and that's why he's down here at number 14. But he's playing on a pretty good line. Then I have Robert Thomas, who is playing on a line with Kyrou and Tarasenko. And obviously, Kyrou and Tarasenko have been two of the best wingers in the league all year. And obviously, Thomas is in a dream position to be centering those two guys. Thing is with Thomas, if he doesn't get you a point, he's not doing a whole lot for you because he doesn't really have a lot of peripherals to offer. So he's not my favorite option, but definitely someone that could put up a point or two. Then I have Travis Konechny of the Philadelphia Flyers. He's playing on the top line with Claude Giroux, but only on the second power play, and he's been decent lately. Nothing too special, but he's definitely someone who makes her a semi-decent streamer. And then I have Nino Niederreiter, who's only playing on the third line in Carolina, but he's been playing pretty well lately, been able to put up some points, which is why I don't mind streaming him, playing with Jordan Staal on that third line. Then Trevor Moore of the LA Kings plays with Philip Danault and usually Victor Arvidsson, but Arvidsson is injured, so Moore's value could get lowered a little bit because of that, but Moore's been really solid all year, so I don't mind the stream. Then I have Scott Laughton, who, believe it or not, is a first liner in Philly. He's playing with Giroux and with Konechny, and he's honestly been pretty decent lately, so I do not mind the stream. Then I have Mike Hoffman, who's playing on a line with Dauphin and Gallagher, getting a good amount of power play time as well, and Hoffman's been really hot lately, so I don't mind the stream there. Then Jordan Staal is someone who's been pretty hot lately as well, even though he's just a third liner. He's playing with Nino Niederreiter, and I don't mind it as long as he stays hot. And then last but not least, I have Sonny Milano of the Anaheim Ducks playing on that line with Zegras and Raquel, and obviously he hasn't been super hot himself, but the opportunities are there. Now jumping quickly into defensemen, and the number one defenseman to grab is Noah Dobson playing top power play in New York. He's been absolutely fantastic. Jared Spurgeon of the Minnesota Wild playing top power play in Minnesota. He's been pretty good himself. Josh Morrissey top power play in Winnipeg. He likes to put up some solid peripherals as well. Jacob Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes been playing top power play in Carolina since D'Angelo has been injured, and the peripherals are pretty decent there as well. Then Rasmus Andersson playing top power play in Calgary. I think you're probably seeing a trend here. Colton Parayko of the St. Louis Blues does not play on the top power play, doesn't even play on the second power play in St. Louis, but he's someone who puts up some solid peripherals and is able to put up some points as well. And I have Ben Sherratt, who's just on an insane hot streak right now, so try to ride that while you can because he's been putting up points left and right, and he's someone who's able to put up some solid peripherals as well, so I do like the Ben Sherratt stream. Then Cam Fowler of the Anaheim Ducks is someone who plays on their second power play, but has been really hot lately, been putting up a lot of points, so definitely don't mind that. Eric Chernak of the Tampa Bay Lightning is someone who's always pretty safe with peripherals. Doesn't put up a lot of points, though. Matt Roy, same kind of thing. Safe with the peripherals, doesn't put up that many points. Then I have Hamonic and Luke Shen. Luke Shen has been insanely safe with that floor because he's been hitting like a crazy man. And then Travis Hamonic has been also really safe with that floor because he's been blocking a lot and putting up some other peripherals as well. Then I have Brady Shea of the Carolina Hurricanes, who has been honestly surprising me this season. He's been putting up some decent peripherals, and he's managed to put up some points every now and then. So I don't hate the streamer with Brady Shea. And then I have Noah Hannafin and Oliver Shillington. I kind of group them together. They both play on the second power play in Calgary, and they're both able to put up points every now and then. And last but not least, I have Andrew Peeke of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Only 3% rostered, but the dude has been putting up some really good peripherals lately, and he's been blocking some shots. So just for that floor, he's definitely worth an add. Jumping into the categories league section of the video now, and let's start with shots on goal. If you need to catch up in shots on goal or you want to maintain your lead, the number one guy to add would be Cam Atkinson. He shoots 3 times per game, so over the 2 games that he plays this weekend, you'll probably get about 6 shots. Joel Eriksson also gets 3 per game, Blake Coleman 3, Kempe 2.9, Andrew Kopp 2.8, Evan Rodriguez has averaged 2.9 on the season, but has been shooting a lot less since he's been moved down to the third line, so I lowered him a little bit. Connor Garland with 2.8, and Ricard Raquel with 2.7. Then, if you need blocks, the number one guy to stream is Ryan Pulock, been blocking 2.6 times per game. So over 2 games, you'll probably get about 5 blocks. Colton Parayko, 2.4. Hamonic, 2.4. Zach Whitecloud, 2.3, although he's been a little inconsistent lately. Tyler Myers, 2.1. Andrew Peeke, 2.1, and Noah Dobson, 2.0. So Dobson is just a threat everywhere. And then for hits, the number one guy to grab is Luke Shen, 4.2 hits per game. He's an absolute monster this year. Cal Clatterbuck, 4.0. Delorier, 3.6. Ristolainen 3.6, Jeannot 3.4, and Marcus Foligno 3.2. I added those two last guys because they're good for both points and for peripherals. They're both guys who hit a lot. And then last but not least, Faceoff wins, and the number one guy for that is Boone Jenner, who wins almost 11 faceoffs per game. He's been absolutely incredible all year. Ryan Getzlaf is next with 9.8 per game. Jean-Gabriel Pageau with 9.7. Jordan Staal with 9.4. Eric Sinek with 9.0. Ryan Johansson and Colton Sissons both win 8.8 per game. Philip Danault 8.4. William Karlsson 8.3. Sean Corrali 7.8. Michael Backlund 7.7. And last but not least, Robert Thomas with 7.6 per game. And those are the best guys to stream for Faceoff wins. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.